Oh my gosh. It is so freaking hot today. So I figured I'd just go live for a little while and kind of talk about whatever comes my way. Um, let's just start out with some really awesome news. There was an Amber Alert at one time for a 4-year-old boy. I didn't know about it, but he has been found. Um, he had been found safe, according to the Virginia State Police, who have not released information about the status. His name was Tylee Nikkei Scott. They believed him to be abducted. It occurred around 11:40 a.m. on June 16th. They believed him to be in danger. And it has been canceled. He had been taken, I'm assuming, by his dad. So, Zena, how are you, girl? Good to see you. So that's some good news. That is some good news that they did find out that yes, he was okay. Yes, it is so hot here. It's not even funny. That's why I thought, well, I'll go ahead and do a live today. Because I really don't want to be messing around outside. And please feel free to talk about whatever you guys want to. I really haven't caught up with a lot of what's going on the YouTube streets. I caught a little bit of traders earlier, but I didn't get to really get the meat and potatoes of what was going on there. So I am pleading the fifth on everything YouTube right now because I really don't know. We have a man who on May 29th, oh, puppies. I forgot you guys had puppies. Yeah, I know that feeling. Believe me. Believe me. Okay, so let me pull this news article up on this one. Um, so there was a man, they finally sentenced him to life. He unalived his 2-year-old daughter. I believe that he used fire to unalive them. Midlife crisis. Girl, I'd get you there for sure. Let me pull this news. This is True Crime Arizona. Let's see what this says. I've just been pulling different things up here on the internet. So, okay, so let me see. Hold on. Okay, so yeah, this is True Crime Arizona. Wanted to make sure I gave them a shout out, gave them some credit. Okay, you should be able to hear this.
A quarter century ago, it's back in the headlines tonight.
The man convicted of murdering his 2-year-old daughter by dousing her with gasoline and then setting her on fire has died in prison.
So I let her in dirt next to the car. I took the gasoline, I poured it on her, took the match and threw it on her.
That was the shocking videotape confession from Sean Grell in 1999. The case
in 1999, he did this. He just passed away in prison. How can you do that? How could you even do that? That is horrible. 1999, he did that. I don't think we need to show any more of that. That's pretty disgusting. Pretty disgusting. So I came across when they put missing children on milk cards. May, where have you been? I want to know, where have you been, May May? And you better have a good answer. Poppy. Hey, darling. May May. Don't fib either. Where have you been? Inquiring minds want to know, lady. We love our May May. We do. I don't care what anybody says about you, May May. Milk cartons. Milk cartons. Let me pull my chat up here. Hold on a moment. Let me get my own chat pulled up. Yeah, I can tell I've been offline for a while. Hell, I'm not even in my own algorithm. That's pretty bad. I have different timelines. That's pretty good, May May. I know you have different times. Hello, River Mom. How are you? Beautiful picture. That's a beautiful picture you have. It's 9 o'clock at night there. Well, I would have gave you a concert, girl. Thank you, Poppy. I appreciate that. I really do. I will pin that. I know nobody pays it any attention, but every little bit helps. I'll just say that. For sure. I know a lot of people had why was I mentioned in a video? Why was I mentioned in a fucking video over at Andrews? Don't be mentioning me over there. I'm going to tell y'all right now, over there in whatever fucking land you're in, don't talk about me at all. Y'all have nothing to say to me or about me at all. I don't talk about y'all. Don't fucking talk about me. For real. I don't associate with fucked up minded people. Fact. 100% fact. Y'all keep your shit over there. Don't be mentioning me. You have no reason to do that. For sure. You know what they do? They keep pushing and pushing because they want me to say the shit that I know about them. And guess what? I don't give a fuck about none of y'all. Get it right for the last time. You ain't got no reason to be talking about me for a fucking thing. Hey, Sandy, I'm waving, girl. You don't have to duck. I was just watching Mr. Trump getting ready to battle Iran with his big planes. Yeah, the big plane he got from, where'd he get that from? Prime Minister or a prince in Dubai or something like that. You guys remember the big plane he got? Okay, I don't really get too political over here, but if you guys really go in and do the research on Iran, Iraq, Israel, Afghanistan, if you really do your research on it, my opinion is we need to stay out of that. We need to stay out of that. But that's just my opinion. You guys know I don't get too political over here, for sure. Yes, a lot of people don't watch the news. It's depressing. It's freaking depressing. For sure. It is. Okay. I mean, look. I was just gone for 4 days, 3 or 4 freaking days. touch the grass, didn't watch YouTube at all, them people don't have anything more to say to me or about me. None of them. So don't mention my fucking name anywhere. See, since I started my channel, there have been people that's tried to suck me into their drama shit. And, you know, do I kind of feel it out and see if I want to go along that ride or not? And the majority of the time, the shit ain't worth it. It's not worth it. At all. I did watch a little bit of AB. That's Wee's man. She loves his voice. He was talking about Hunter, I guess, and I don't know. Josh at the lab and Chris McDonough had mentioned Hunter. I have my opinions on that. Do I think that Hunter knows things he's not saying? Absolutely. Do I think he knows things that that could help in the Summer Wells case? I don't know. Yay, Poppy. Yay. Good for you. It's best to dig a hole and hide in it. Well, I ain't hiding in no damn hole. I dug my own fucking holes when I was in the Army. I sure did. And let me tell you guys something. I don't give a fuck who says she wasn't in the Army. I absolutely was. I showed my DD 214, and I don't owe them motherfucking scallywags a motherfucking thing. 21 plus over here today. Damn right I dug my own fucking hole. And I sat in it and waited for the fucking enemy to come. And guess what? I was a soldier, and I was going to do what soldiers do when the enemy came near my foxhole. You better believe it. It's hard. It is so hard, though. These bitches on social media make you want to smoke. For real. They absolutely do. But I enjoy my subs. I enjoy my members. I enjoy everyone who comes and hangs out in my chat. We don't have to demean people's characters over here. We don't have to make up lies to make ourselves important over here. Because guess what? You all are important. I'm important. We are a group of very important fucking hoes. Except for May May. She's not a hoe. She is actually we'll give her the madame status. How about that, May May? May May can be our madame. For real. My husband, ex now for years, was a helicopter pilot in Vietnam. We were married 13 years. I remember Vietnam well, and the guys that came home. It was heartbreaking, wasn't it? And I will say this 1,000 times over. Just because when I was in the military, it was like back in 1985. And I'm not going to talk about it a whole lot because I have promised Diamonds that whenever she's ready, I'm going to go on her panel, on her channel, and we're going to talk about the time that I spent in the military, the things that happened to me. We're gonna get into it, and I promised her I would do that. And whenever she's ready, she can give me a heads up on that. But yes, just because I say I stepped down a level with vets because I never was in a wartime situation. I was never made to go over. Now, I did go to Germany, but we weren't in a wartime situation then. So that was just like me going and living in Germany for 2 years, right? I was over there for like 2 years in Germany. And I was there when they tore the wall down. It was a very interesting time in my life. I am proud to say that I have had a very interesting life. I really have. And social media is a different kind of character because a lot of times you have people that want to act like that they know about your personal life, right? They think that they know your everyday living. They know every little thing about you. And they don't. They don't. And I chalk that up as they're weird fuckers and they're at a high level of weird. For sure. Now, I don't get how people who act the way they do on social media and shit say some horrific shit. I don't know how they think that makes them look good. And this is the way I am. If you think that the shit that them fucking scallywags have said about me is entertaining and, you know, you think it's okay, you're not a good fit for my channel. You are not a good fit for my channel. People need to go back and look at my lives. I think I pretty much tried to stay true to what I envisioned my channel to be to start with. I really think I have. Now, I know a lot of people were like, why did you talk to Jody Sue? You said you never talked to anybody surrounding the Summer Wells case. Well, one thing I did say was if I had to talk to any of them, it would be Jody. But you guys have to remember also, that was kind of a double conversation because Jody was expressing to us her DV and different things she had gone through and different things she went through on social media. One thing I do try to do with people, no matter how anybody feels about them, I do try to absolutely humanize people. Oh, Sandy, I just seen where I had a notification that, let me tell you what it says. On Andrew's channel, somebody mentioned me in a video. And it says, mentioned you in a video. They tagged Mama Bear. They tagged the lab and tagged the interview room. So why were they talking about me? I don't get it. Look, May, Auntie Sherry is Auntie Sherry, okay? I think she got a little upset with me. I was teasing her yesterday, and Debbie was kind of teasing her, and I told her when she was over here that this is a toll bridge. I haven't seen the video. I don't want to watch it. It's on Andrews. It's on Andrews. Are you kidding me? Do you think that I'm going to play that and watch it? I definitely ain't going to play it on my channel. I'm not stupid. I'm not setting myself up so they can strike me over them saying stupid shit. I don't watch him either. I used to. I mean, but no, I ain't got nothing to say about Andrew anyway. I really don't. I personally am going to say, I think his wife is pretty nice. She come up on panel and we had a great conversation. I think she was very open on my channel, and I appreciated that. But she told us all, Andrew doesn't know anything about Summer Wells or Summer going missing. Now, okay, so I kind of jumped ahead of myself here. So I agree, Sandy. He's lucky to have her. Absolutely. Well, you was H. Davis. You were H. Davis. You were over there. So I guess Chris McDonough made a comment about, Hunter possibly or having secrets or some shit, right? Oh, thank you, Rachel. I don't know why I mentioned, though. Right here it says, mentioned you in a video. I swear. I'm going to show you right here. Right here. Andrew Dippy Lips talking mentioned you in a video. That's what it says right here. Mentioned you in a video. And then it says, good luck. Good luck with what? Good luck with what? I ain't doing nothing to you guys. For real. Fucking leave me alone. Okay, so hang on. Let me get out of that. Hold on. Okay. So, and I'm going to give you my opinion on it. Only because I can. You guys know I can. You know I can. You know I can. But anyway, look. At the end of the day, I'm a fucking human being. Okay? I am a human being. I'm going to piss people off. A lot of times, I don't even know why people are pissed off at me. For real. But, I don't give a fuck. I honestly don't give a fuck. For sure. I don't care how they live their lives. I don't care whatever. No, I'm glad you mentioned her. Thank you, Carla. That cursed. Cursed. I watched your last video. Okay, we're going to pull up Cursed. I adore Cursed with curiosity. Now, she doesn't come over much anymore. But, man, she is beautiful. She is beautiful. Cursed. Girl, if I went that way, I'd tap that girl. I would. She just did a new video, and it's very freaking interesting. Interesting. Let me find it first. She is on it, you guys. I do. Wait, that ain't it. Dang, Cursed, I gotta find it. Cursed, you are very beautiful. You really are. You are beautiful inside and out, lady. And I really adore people like that. Everybody's beautiful in their own way. Like a starry summer night, the world's gonna find a way. There's none so blind than he who will not see. You have to open up your mind. Okay, I'm done. Sorry. Y'all know how I am. And let your thoughts be free. Y'all know how I am. I'm just not the type of person that's going to sit over here and go, yeah, oh, somebody told me this about that person. So let me tell you what that other person said about you. And even if it's something, that's going to hurt your feelings, and by me saying it, other people will hear the lie that I'm going to tell about you and repeat it all over the freaking YouTube universe, so other people can jump on the let's demean someone's character bandwagon. Fucking weird shit. Well, May, I'm gonna write you a song. We're gonna sing for May. We're gonna do it today for May. Yes, I know that song too, May. When you walk through the storm, hold your head up high. I don't know if that's the song. I can't remember. I don't remember, May. But yes, one thing people should do, if you watch Cursed or you're watching her video, you can go in her comments and say, Remain Calm said she adores you. She has worked so hard to show us these, I don't even know what to call it, the Fred Hill talking bullshit, changing his story 1,000 freaking times. And I appreciate her for that. Because whether you guys think so or not, it is hard work, right? It is very hard work. It's very also mentally draining. And I think we all know that. Anyone who has been associated with the Summer Wells case from the beginning especially knows that to think about the different scenarios on what could have happened to that little girl, it weighs heavy on your soul. It really does. A lot's been said in the last 4 years, Rachel, for sure. Come along if you feel like a dog without a roof, 'cause I'm happy. I seen people get really depressed throughout this whole 4 years. And look how we have felt. I couldn't imagine, because like I always say, and I still say this, I do not know what guilt or innocence Dawn and Candace have in Summer going missing. I don't know that. But Summer Wells is Dawn and Candace's daughter. We've adopted her. We felt like she's our own. We, said, oh, there was things that happened on 110. We would have never put our children through that. I think a lot of us put ourselves on a different level than Dawn and Candace. And, even a lot of times I don't really talk to people from social media. And a lot of them, it's not because I don't want to talk to them, but, you know, honestly, Debbie probably is the one I talk to the most. I do try to keep up with flies and, you know, let's pray for her. I know she hasn't been feeling well, so, you know, we're going to send some prayers to her. But it's interesting the dynamic with me and Debbie when we speak about the wells. And she kind of has a different take on things, a little bit different than me. We can beg to differ on our conversations. And I love that about Debbie, because we may not agree on something, but we're not going to fight over it. We're grown ass adults. So her take on the wells is a little bit different than mine. But we do have to remember that Candace is Summer's mother. Don is her dad. And so I couldn't imagine the feelings that they have had compared to us, right? If any of that even freaking made sense. Okay, so Kirst, let me drop your link. Let me drop your link, a lovely lady. And I do appreciate that, because let me tell you guys something. I can guarantee you it hasn't been easy for her to have to listen to freaking Fred and Ziggy's shit all the time. For sure. I will always say, no matter what we talk about over here, don't take anything that I talk about and use it to go hate on somebody, because I'm not like that. I'm not like that. Cursed with curiosity is somebody I want to be. Okay, wait a minute. How did I spell curiosity wrong? I shouldn't have spelled cure-e-os. Oh, I put a U in there. Hold on, I gotta take the U out. Damn, that's not very nice. Okay, hold on. What the fuck have I done? All right, give me a second. Give me a second. Today. I can't even fucking spell today. Well, I mean, do we really know that, Rachel? Do we really know that Candace has never cried for Summer? Right? Oh, thanks, May May. You are such a treat. There's the link. Okay. You know, we don't know that. I mean, I don't personally know that. You can spell today, May May. You're at the front of the class. Where's my ruler? I got my ruler out, you guys. I have my ruler out. Hang on, give me 1 sec. For a moment. So, look, I'm not going to sit here and say I'm a Candace fan. I am not going to say, sorry, I'm moving around my room a little bit. Oh, thank you, Poppy. That's okay, girl. I did too. I was in the public eye doing interviews. I lose it every time. Well, the thing about it is, look, I will say this 1,000 times over. I have nothing against anybody who has befriended the Wells. It really is not my business. And I will not ask anybody who knows them what they've ever talked about. That is not my business. It's not my concern. I'm not going to sit over here and dog on Candace and call her names and different things like that. What she's shown us, it's open for discussion, but there's no need to, you know, sit over here and call her names or call Dawn's name or anything. Not that I ain't said that, in my opinion, Dawn's a piece of crap or anything, right? Yeah, but she wasn't May when she was allegedly fishing when Ernie called her. She was supposed to be fishing, and she was sick and throwing up, and of course Ernie put it on YouTube, right? But in the very beginning, Candace said, and I have it, I will try to find it. She said and told people she didn't like to show her emotions to anyone, right? Hickey Majigger. Oh, is that like a thingamajigger? You say hickey majigger? My creator says no judgment is fair as long as it's mine. Poor Summer was lost long before she went missing on Ben Hill Road. All the adults felt her. Some creep grabbed her on the road. Thank you, Zena, for putting in my opinion. Thank you. I appreciate that. You know, so Candace didn't lie. She came out and told people. She said, I don't know how to talk. I don't know how to express myself to people. And she was saying that to Ernie about coming on YouTube and basically spilling her guts about her life. So what happened is, and believe me, I know that Candace was on Daisy's a lot. I never went and watched. After a certain point, I mean, yes, she said things about Summer, what Summer liked, all this other stuff. And, but honestly, I didn't go and listen. Not because I don't like Daisy, so nobody jump on that and, you know, think that I'm saying something, you know, I'm not. It was because the timeline, or whatever you want to call it, that she started in the beginning. And Don basically told you guys, what did he tell you? Don said, law enforcement told me to go back and sit down with Candace and work on the timeline or something like that. Remember that? So then you have to question, in that timeline, whose timeline is it? Candace's? Grandma's? Or something that Dawn has added? Right? Yes, I think so too, May May. That is a great statement, May May. A really great statement. You do start appreciating your life and what people mean to you. You absolutely do. And the thing about it is, you know, sometimes you just have to just completely block people out of your lives. And it's very sad, but sometimes you just have to do that. Sometimes if you are really good friends and you know that that friendship is there, and you have a disagreement, there's nothing wrong with, kind of giving it a break. Because you can't, you're conflicted about things, and maybe, the communication's not there that real friends should have. If you kind of back off for a little bit and you go back and you find that that friendship is a solid friendship, that's a good thing. That is a good thing. Or you may find that that friendship wasn't what you thought it was. Maybe not as good friends with each other, right? Cutie pie. You are a cutie pie. Thank you. Thank you for becoming a member. But I have to give a disclaimer. You never know what I'm going to talk about. And you never know how many times I'm going to say the F word. For sure. There's people too that you may, there's people that can just be acquaintances, right? That you may talk to and things like that, but you may never have that really being friends connection, for sure. Yeah, you got to watch out for the ruler. You definitely got to watch out for the ruler. May. Yes, May, it would. It really would be expensive on birthdays. That's why I sing people happy birthday. I sing it to them. But I can guarantee you something. When somebody does fuck shit to me or lies on me, or, I'm like, no, you're not going to be a part of my life. No, you do have friends, May. You got friends in low places, May. That's us. That is us, May. We're friends in low places. For sure. But that's just the way I am. I mean, really, that is just the way I am. And there's nothing wrong with having acquaintances, but I learned very quickly on YouTube, before I even started my channel, that once you see somebody's behavior and them treating other people a certain way, don't ever not think that them people will do the same thing to you, because chances are they will. I have seen people say horrible shit about people on YouTube, and then they go back to them people, hey, yeah, sorry I said that. And they just want to move on like what they said or did is okay. That makes no sense to me. That makes no sense to me. Craziness. All right. Cursed with curiosity, ma'am. I will say it again. I appreciate you for covering the Fred and Ziggy stuff. I don't think that I could have hung on to do that. My opinion on Fred Hill the way that Fred was talking, the way he's been talking, the different stories that he told, I would really, really and truly love to know exactly when Candace realized Summer was gone. I believe, and this is just me, that she went missing way before the 6:23 first phone call to Ellie. She had already called Dawn. In his mind, he says 5:30. Yeah, I think so too. I think they got home, and I think it was just a short amount of time that Summer went out the door, but that would change a lot of things, right? Wouldn't that change a lot of things? Because Fred has put himself on the road starting at what time? Didn't at one time, I should ask Kirst this. Remind me if I see her, I'll ask her. Didn't Fred Hill say that he had seen Candace when she was coming home? Didn't he say that? Girl, I'm always broke too. I am. It sucks. Okay, so let's get Kirst going here. Hopefully you guys will be able to hear it. And Kirst, I got to commentate on it if I need to. So this is Kirst with Curiosity.
So the Hills come out, right? And they say they came out of hiding because a big event came out. I don't know if it was that Summer's been missing 4 years, or if it was that this Jason Jensen guy came out, and he's a PI.
Now, the Jason Jensen guy, she's getting ready to explain who he is. This guy is a PI out of Utah, right? And for some reason, someone just starts messaging him out of the blue, talking about a brother having something to do with Summer Wells. And the guy talks about getting his license in Tennessee. It just all seems really off the wall to me. It really does.
Guy from Utah, but he is advertising that he got space in Washington, but then he posted that because of Summer Wells' case, he was going to get his license in Tennessee.
Okay, hold on. Because of the sudden involvement in the Summer Wells case, I've been invited to expedite my pursuit of a PI agency and PI license in Tennessee. A burglary turned abduction. Let me tell you guys something. Anyone who's followed the Summer Wells case from the beginning is going to heavily question this. And let me tell you why. How many of these creators have talked about, hey, we're going to hire a PI to go to Tennessee and see what they can find about Summer Wells. I didn't care. That didn't have shit to do with me. Whatever, right? Now, in my opinion, if Don and Candace already have their PIs, they know the area, they've been investigating it for 4 years. What possibly would this guy learn? Now, he would go to Tennessee. I don't know if he's aware of Tennessee or the surroundings or the people that have inserted themselves into Summer's case. So, I mean, is it a money grab? I don't know. I can't say that it is, but we've seen it happen. We've seen it happen. So, oh, look, isn't this interesting? At the bottom of his little post, what's it say? Send a gift. Send a gift. He's got a little bit of a, for some reason, he's got Dyke's Mill pinpointed. Okay, so let me pull that up. I'm going to pull up Dyke's Mill. Let's see. Okay. Dykes Mill, Tennessee, Rogersville. The neighborhood of Dykes Mill is located in Hawkins County in Tennessee. Let me see what I can find out about this. Let me see. Hold on. Okay, so we're going to pull up the map. Let's pull up a map real quick. So, this is Beach Creek here. Right there, Simpson's Loop. Where was it? Hold on. Where was it? Kirst, I had a question for you, and I can't remember what it was. Kirst, where was it that the 2 little kids were allegedly seen out beside a... Remember when it was reported when the allegedly 2 kids were seen and they were out by the road? Was that at this place where they were found? Aaron Mall. You guys remember that? Does somebody remember that? That was a different county? Okay. But you remember it, right? You remember? Okay. Let me make sure that I set this up correctly so we can hear your beautiful voice. But yeah, anybody who followed Summer case, at a point there was a couple kids that was reported out by the road, and they were calling about it. Okay.
So if you want to believe anything he says, go for it. So anyway, before he turns in the tip that he got, he puts it on Facebook. And the tip was...
Thank you. Thank you, Kirst. Because I had heard it too, but I couldn't remember if it actually came out of their mouth or not. But yeah, I did hear it.
Something to the effect that
Summer Wells, I know what you did. Turn your brother in. Hey, you know I have your names. Confess where she is. Did this dude contact law enforcement, I wonder?
I know what you did. Turn your brother in. So then Fred starts telling the story that we've never heard before. That apparently on the 15th, when Summer disappeared, he's got this bike story that he...
The bike story, yes. But isn't that interesting? I know what you did. Turn your brother in. Turn your brother in. Is that biological brother? Is that like your brother that you hang out with? Is that someone that you're, in passing, you're like, hey, bro. And they're like, hey, bro, what's up? Right? What kind of brother, Mr. P.I.?
He has told in different ways. Okay, let me take that back. His times and what he did before or after has changed. He's in the beginning, he didn't mention the bike story, and then the bike story came in.
So this dude's on Facebook.
He left at 3, he left at 3:30, he left at 4:30. They went to the store. They went to
So this is the question. What about Marlena? Look, the only thing that I was like, WTF, that Marlena even said was the fact that she took a lie detector test. I don't know if that's true or not. I'm not going to say she's not. I will do that right now, Kirst. I really don't know anything about Marlena at all. There's not much I need to know. Jason. All right, there it is. He's popular on the Facebook. Huh. Wait. Lord help me. Okay, that's not the same guy. Okay, let's see what he said. Here it is, you guys. For immediate release. Jensen Investigations official press release. He's already releasing a press release. Oh, wait, no. That's Kurt Cobain. That ain't got nothing to do with Summer. All right, wait. So this dude is going to investigate the death of Kurt Cobain, which is kind of weird, and let me tell you why. because there was a top-notch private investigator, and I can't remember what his name was, that did investigate it, and he was in contact with what's her name, Kurt's wife, Courtney Love, right? And looking for, no way. Wow, that's crazy. So it seems to me, without even okay. Okay, he's using verbiage. Okay, well, whatever. It sounds like he's trying to insert himself into investigations that are high profile, right? High profile investigations. So I don't know. But why would someone contact a private investigator in Utah to tell this private investigator anything about the Summer Wells case? But I don't know.
Glenda Head's house to use her Wi-Fi, and then they went.
What was the name? What was the name of the private investigator that? What was it? The Lost. What was that guy's name? Ken something, right? Somebody, if you remember, I mean, I'm not doxing the guy or anything, but you know, he was the main guy in that 501c3, the Lost thing.
Picked up this bike from this guy in Sullivan, and you know, he made it sound like they went to a different county. Well, the Sullivan line is right up the road from Ben Hill and Beach Creek.
And that's what a lot of people don't understand, I think, Cursed also, is that you can be standing in the holler looking across the mountain, and another county may be just right on the next mountain. You can absolutely get into different counties kind of quick going over the mountain, if that makes sense.
So he says he goes
Poppy,
and he picks
darling.
up this bike from Bill Shipley's house.
Fred picked the bike up from Bill's brother's driveway, Tim Shipley.
And I'll let him explain what he did. My issue with it is that he has not ever told this story before. And I had already been talking to someone about this whole bike situation. I thought it was kind of froggy. And
yeah, this bike situation's been really...
I won't give my opinion. I should, but I won't. I think it was stolen. Oh,
Oh,
Alfred
nice.
always inserts himself in the story. So,
And that's what I don't understand. He has inserted himself in the story so much that it anybody looking at the situation, especially me, it's like you're putting yourself around the area at the time Summer went missing. Like I said, if 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 we only knew the true time that Summer went missing, because the thing about it is, even if Candace was in the house and Grandma was sleeping and, you know, Summer went down out the basement door and walked or went wherever she was going, we only know of when Candace first started looking for her. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. I believe a lot of things were said, and were said the way they were said is because they wanted to make Candace out to be this great mother. Hey, Kathy. So it's like, you know, because allegedly Jody Sue heard the scream, what'd she say, 4:30, 4:42, something like that. Supposedly Candace said, and I'd have to find where she said it. She may have been talking to Benny, I don't remember, said that she didn't hear the scream because she was looking for Summer. And yeah, 2 cents. Allegedly, Candace was at Fred's at 4:30. Then you've got Candace saying she's seen Jody around 4:30. And it's weird. So I think if we could know the exact time, for sure. And I think earlier when I was talking about Hunter, I forgot to even give my opinion on that, but I think that, you know, Hunter probably could say a lot of things about what transpired at 110 Ben Hill Road. Right? Luna. Right? So Chris McDonough making that statement, I didn't even hear what he said, but okay, 3:30 to 4. So they kind of guesstimated that Candace would have got home at what, 3:15 or something like that. And I don't think I'm sorry. I don't think Summer had her shoes on when she was in the car. So if that's the case and she jumps up and she takes her jacket off, she's still got her t-shirt and her little sweatpants on, right? That would put her as not having any shoes on. Was Dawn home? A lot, we don't know. Well, Chad Arnold hasn't come out and said anything as far as I know. They did mention him being at a funeral and mentioning Summer Wells, right? So, okay, if we look at it like that, 3:30-ish, 4-ish, they get home, they do the groceries. Candace says she fixed them something to eat. Later on, Grandma comes to the camper door. We all know the story, right? Hello, Chris.
I think this is a good maybe segue to play some clips of what he had said before about the bike, and maybe bring some things maybe to Ziggy's attention, and maybe she will start seeing what I see.
I don't think she will, Kirst. I know. Well, and see, that's what makes it so hard too. I think with me, and this is just me talking about me, I've heard so many things that have been said with Summer's case, with creators, with subs, with people that I've had conversations on the phone with. You know, one thing that I've never done, and I'm really glad, is strike up a conversation in an email about Summer's case, because, you know, that's a lot. That would be a lot. And I've just never done that. But I've had conversations with people, and I've had conversations with people who said that they're close to Candace or they know the family. And I think if you were to ask any of them, they would probably tell you that I'm a bitch when it comes to people coming into my chat, and I know Dawn and I know Candace, and you know, I personally don't care. Ain't got shit to do with me. I know Kirst does have a really good voice. Let me say this, Kirst, and I usually don't repeat what someone has said to me. I'm not even going to repeat. I'm not going to tell you who said it. It is a creator and who was very close with Dawn Wells, I'll say. And she told me that the boys were at work with Dawn. If I remember correctly, she said that he told her that the boys were with him for a little while that day. Which, that's really not a big deal. That's not really a big deal, only because it would have made him look better if Dawn would have had the boys at work with him for a little while, instead of them being left home for hours by themselves. See the difference there? So, I mean, if I remember correctly, Hunter has doubled down on Dawn somehow hearing or Candace saying that Dawn had the boys at work. But I don't know, I wasn't there. But that's the thing about Summer's case. Why, if they're lying about this stuff like that, why? Why would they? Dang, TT, long time no seeth. Yes, he could have taken him home after lunch. Yes, that would tie into to Hunter's story. But one thing that Chris McDonald was pointing out was the fact that, and I don't know if it's true or not, Allie saying that Grandma and Candace showed up wanting to know what Hunter told law enforcement. Now, I ain't going to say that Allie wasn't telling the truth, but you have to remember that Allie did go back on some things that she said. Allie did go back on some things. So, do you take everything, you know? Candace denied Dawn being home. She told Chris she knew where her husband was that day after Chris brought up the boys being with Dawn. Okay, let me ask you this then, Kirst. Do you think that the text thread between, I believe it was Jenna and Candace, do you think that to be untrue then? Because if you remember, I think it was Jenna. I could be wrong. I just remember the text. And Candace was asking, did you tell people Dawn was home like 3:30 or whatever? And she said, yes, but I told him that you did not see him. And Candace was like, okay. So was that you think not true? Right, she didn't deny it. She just said okay. She just said she knew where he was at that day. Absolutely. Absolutely. And the thing about it is, if Dawn was home, they would have seen it on the cameras, right? Don't you think law enforcement would have seen it on the cameras? Well, it just comes down to, this is my thing. Once somebody tells a lie, and then that lie does all this damage, and then they want to come out and say, yeah, I didn't tell the truth about that. I was bullshitting. That was a lie. I can't ever listen to what that person says again without questioning, are they bullshitting or not, right? Unless it was premeditated, they had the phone traced as well. Now, this did pique my curiosity. The text thread to Hunter on, was it June 4th? There was a lot in that June 4th text thread that mimicked the text on June 15th. Right? Chris is going to make new Hunter. He's going to make a new Hunter. The fake call to Mary. That fake call to Mary was allegedly done because Dawn was trying to find out what his stepsisters were saying. There was allegedly a mole in the family, and he was trying to find out who it was. No, I didn't, Kirst. I don't remember seeing one. I don't remember seeing one. None of us get the fake phone call. I don't know how. I don't know. Candace had to have been doing something to be able to do that phone call and say the things she said. Okay, let's get back this.
Okay, because Fred has specifically said, I never seen this guy before, and I haven't seen him since.
Oh, you never, it wasn't on the trailer?
No, because I used the same trailer to haul that motorcycle on. When I went to the end of the creek and stuff, and I had to come back and get the trailer to take his motorcycle to West Side Inn, and I don't know.
What time was this? Do you remember, Kirst? Do you remember what time he allegedly went back by the creek? That's what he said, right? The end of the creek and stuff. Went to the end of the creek and stuff. You think Candace fell asleep a short nap? I don't know. I don't think so. I mean, but she could have. What's up, Sage?
And stuff, and I had to come back and get the trailer to take his motorcycle to West Side Inn, and I don't know who that guy was.
So you wasn't in your trailer? I mean, you wasn't in your... Okay, I need to hear that one more time. Sorry, Kirst. I know that you made it, so I'm sorry. I wanted to hear what he said again.
Now maybe she will start seeing what I see. Okay, because Fred has specifically said, I never seen this guy before, and I haven't seen him since.
Oh, you never, it wasn't on the trailer?
No, because I used the same trailer to haul that motorcycle on. When I went to the end of the creek and stuff, and I had to come back and get the trailer to take his motorcycle to West Side Inn, and I don't know.
So where was he when... Okay, I guess I got too many questions. Detached from their souls and brain cells. Fred's given multiple times, but the majority of the time he'll say 4 to 4:15. So, where was he? Shit. Oh, you already told me where the motorcycle was. Oh, goodness.
Who that guy was. I never met him before. Never seen him since.
So this is just a guy on a motorcycle that's in the holler, and his motorcycle breaks down, and Fred has never seen him before. He just is like a good guy that's going to go back to his house and get the trailer to go take this guy's motorcycle somewhere. Oh, that's interesting. Right across the road from Light Road. So let me ask you this. Where he is saying, and this is on June 15th, right? If would Fred have had to damn. Oh, Fred's property, that's what I remember. Why, though, when someone else was already there helping, most likely because he knew Jeff? It's not even helping with the motorcycle. It's where he's putting himself at. And he's saying that this was around 4. Is that what you said, Kirst? Would he have possibly, I'm just saying, he keeps putting himself in the freaking area of the time Summer could have went missing. Oh, so you have not even found one with the same description? Oh.
How is that possible?
That ain't possible.
The same guy was the informant that set him up on the charges that put him in jail.
Yes.
Oh, who did Fred help with that was broke down on a motorcycle that day? That summer. There was
Jeff Everly. It was Jeff Everly.
Everly?
Wow.
It was, yes.
Jeff Everly?
Yes, he was broke down on a motorcycle at the end of the road, but he's not a bad person. He didn't do anything.
Yeah.
She automatically says, this dude's a good person. He didn't do anything. What is the anything? He didn't do anything. Jody said Fred came in the holler, 10 and 2. It's scared. Did Jody say when he went back out of the holler? If she knew that he came in the holler at 10 and 2, I would think that she would know if he left again, right? Or staying with Jeff while Fred was in jail, allegedly. Oh. Okay. Well, that's probably why he's a good dude, right?
Yeah, that was so.
I know Jeff very well.
Right.
So how did you not see him before or see him after? It doesn't line up. It doesn't.
If Laura knew him very well, Fred had to have known of him. Oh, you've been writing without sending the girl. Girl. It's okay, Sage. His truck's on her helicopter video that night at sunset, which was 8:52 the 15th. Wow. Oh, I don't know. I would hope not, Chris, but I wasn't there. I don't know. That's interesting. His truck's on her helicopter video. JSB said she heard Fred stop at 110 that day, then leave again. But she won't say what time. Well, then why say that? Right? Why say that if you're not going to tell us what time it was? But that's just me. Y'all know how I feel about shit.
Add up. None of it does.
So one of his sisters just said Fred got his motion of discovery, and Fred said that Jeff Everly and Pat Wilcox were the ones that bought from him. He also did.
Okay, so this is the interesting thing. They bought things from Fred, substances, because Fred was a manufacturer of a substance. He sold to 2 undercovers, and Fred sees the dude and his motorcycle's broke down, and Fred's like, I don't know you, but I'll help you haul your motorcycle out of here. I have to say that's fucked up, Cursed. Why put out that information if you're not going to tell us how it makes sense? Right? If it ain't our fucking business, why come out on a social media platform and freaking tell it? That's just my opinion, though. That's just my opinion.
He also did a polygraph. Oh my God, can you send me a copy of it, please? Oh yeah, the polygraph was done about Summer, guys, because that's what he was talking about. Do you think?
But we never seen that. What we seen was your husband being questioned over the passing of Cotton Simpson. Why hasn't any of that came out if he took a lie detector in the Summer Wells case? She did a whole live on his motion of discovery. He tried saying HCSO made mistakes, yet he pled guilty on the charges, did not take it to the grand jury like she said he would. Wow. Talking about Ziggy and Fred Hill, that could be a whole 5-hour live by itself, because we see the inconsistencies in what's Fred saying. And I truly think that Ziggy does want to find out what happened to Summer. But I don't know. I can't even begin to psychoanalyze that with my Google psychoanalyzing certificate. Hey, 444. The Tales of Ben Hill. Children, let me tell you a story about a place in Hawkins County, Tennessee, or Rogersville. It's a hollow. There's receipts of hundreds of dollars given to Fred in a short amount of time while he was in jail. Really? That's interesting, because didn't he say that he was following? I think he talks about that. Okay, let me see if he talks about it before I do.
How do you think that situation happened about him talking to the law enforcement when he was in jail? Do you think that he asked to speak with them, or do you think that they came to him?
They come to him, because they came to me.
They did come to you too?
Yes, I did.
Holy crap, you didn't tell me this.
I don't tell all my secrets.
What they want to know?
Just if I know anything about Cotton Simpson.
That's right, Cotton Simpson. They didn't ask you about Summer, Laura? Plenty to Fred and Zig. Misinformation, money, love after lockup. It's all bizarre. I agree, Kurz. It is bizarre. Yes, she is, Chris.
So they started asking you about Cotton, huh?
Yep.
Wow.
Just asked me about what Fred was saying.
So you guys follow him to see because
he kept acting worried about getting robbed.
So Fred is saying that Cotton was acting weird and afraid that he was going to get robbed because he had some money on him
For some reason. That's what
for some reason.
B was more concerned about at the time because he kept letting him, like, with all that money on him and stuff, he was worried about getting robbed. He wanted to get back home.
So did he know you?
Why did Cotton have a bunch of money on him? Just a question. I'm nosy. And why did Cotton let Fred know that he had a bunch of money on him? I don't know Cotton Simpson or anything about him. Rest in peace, Cotton Simpson. So a lot of what they say that Cotton has said, Cotton is not here to let anybody know. So
You guys were following him?
No.
Just being nosy?
Yeah.
And then you followed him to that.
just being nosy. Yeah. What?
Yeah.
And
Okay, hold on. I didn't rewind it enough.
Worried about getting robbed. He wanted to get back home.
so did he know you guys were following him?
No.
Just
Did he know you guys were following him? No.
being nosy?
Yeah.
And
Just being nosy.
and then you followed him to that.
We went to top of the mountain there at Mountain View and turned from Mountain View on. I'm trying to think what that big mountain.
Did he just admit to being on the mountain? Curse, did he just admit? I don't know if he's talking about the same. Oh. Okay, Curse, thank you. Yes, the boat. Thank you for reminding me. I forgot about that. Yeah, by the boat. Wow. I knew I heard that. Wow. Do you think when he showed that one page of, I don't know if I even am taking his little lie detector test paperwork and hold any credence to it. Marlena made a comment. That's probably why they lowered Cotton down there. What did she say? Did I miss something she said? This is crazy.
Or mountain trail or something that he pulled onto and back into the church.
Cotton Simpson.
And that's where his beef was found the next day and stuff.
Wow.
And I told him that I didn't know. All I noticed that it came by, that Cotton came by, and they talked, and I went back in the house.
And that was
And
just
that's all I know.
and that was back in like February. Wouldn't it have been? Because I think he passed in February.
On February the 14th.
Again, Fred's stories always change. They
Wow.
always have. Either the stories change or he lies.
Do you think that Fred and Ziggy's sitting in the background and they're like, hey, let's talk about this? And do you think that they know that, well, okay, that's a weird question. Do you think that they have manufactured all this shit for personal gain as far as the attention that they get on social media and all of that. Yes, they were. Thank you so much. Yes, admittedly under the influence. Absolutely.
How do you not see this? How do you not see it?
So you guys remember that incident that Fred talked about when he was coming out of the holler and there was a guy broke down on a motorcycle, like a moped motorcycle or whatever?
It's a Harley Davidson.
Oh, see, I get it all fucking wrong, dude.
Yeah, he was broke down right before we get to not Mount Carmel Church, but Psalmist Temple Church. And I stopped to help him, or asked if he needed help. And that's when he was asking for a relay, and I didn't have a relay or nothing.
What's a relay?
It's hard to explain.
Okay. I was just asking.
What's a relay? Is a relay slang for something? Let's see. Question Fred in a way like she's looking for true answers. I think it's dangerous what she's done having her daughter in that home. I've heard. Now, honestly, this is the truth. I do not watch Ziggy. That's why I appreciate you, Kirst. I don't watch Ziggy. You know, Fred's contradicted himself so much. And I have heard that there is weird shit going on. I'll say that. Oh, the relay switch. Thank you, Kirst. The relay switch. Okay.
Just so in case people.
But anyway, I actually went back and hooked the trailer up and hauled the bike to West Side Inn for him. And his bike had been stolen, and he had found it on the creek on the 15th around Ben Hill somewhere, so I don't know exactly where.
So it does sound like the motorcycle had been stolen. It's kind of weird that somebody'd steal a motorcycle and put it in a hauler, right? You just find it in the hauler? Chris said you run backwards. Okay, like a rudder. I get it. Heard Fred snap in anger on Ziggy and once on Jody. The Bible verse says, be fearless. You are never alone. Okay.
Yeah. Yes, he does have a brother because he spoke about his brother because he talked about trying to get a hold of his brother and his dad to come and get it, but he didn't have no cell service.
Okay, so he's saying, I don't know this guy, but he knows enough that the dude was trying to get hold of his brother. This is weird. This is weird.
Unfortunately, the West Side Inn is no longer around, so if they had any surveillance or anything.
Yeah, I mean, I talked to law enforcement about this bike and stuff and the situation on the 15th, the night of the 15th when they was talking, asking me about anything suspicious in the area or anything.
What's the bike?
You allegedly put that bike on a trailer. Why would that be suspicious? This ain't making, it doesn't make sense, Kirst. I totally agree. It doesn't make any sense.
Blue?
No, he went blue.
Do you remember what color it was?
It had a rattlesnake skin seat, and the tank was looked like rattlesnake skin over the tank too.
Well, Fred, for forgetting shit and telling different stories, you sure know what that motorcycle looks like. Rattlesnake skin over the tank coat. I bet that's a really cool looking motorcycle. Yes, that's what I'm saying. If Fred didn't know who the guy was, how did he know that the guy didn't steal the motorcycle? How did he know that? Weird, right? The guy just shows up in Beach Creek and finds the motorcycle. Now, it's not running, so the guy's just standing there with his motorcycle. Where did he follow you, Fred? When you left the holler with the motorcycle, did the guy follow you in a vehicle? What? What? What was that guy driving, Fred? What was the guy driving? Or did somebody bring him to the holler and said, there's your motorcycle? And he was like, cool, I'll ride my motorcycle back to wherever I came from. And then the motorcycle wouldn't start? Inquiring minds want to know. Inquiring minds want to know. You would think he would notice something like that, right? Oh, a gold Lexus? And a gold Lexus. And they took it to the West Side Inn Motel. Do we know anything about the West Side Inn Motel? A yellow car. Fred needed to get gas again. Remember, he got it earlier that day. He said he's seen Andy there at 5:30. Wow. Okay, you guys, I gotta use the ladies' room and grab me something to drink. So be nice to each other in chat. That's all I ask. And give me just a couple minutes and I shall be right back. And thank you for this video, Curse. This is really educational. I appreciate it. Okay, I'm back. Sorry. You are the only one pointing it out. You're absolutely right. I agree with you on that, darling. Hey, KK. All right, let's hear the rest of this. I'm going to back it up or rewind it, as we say over here, because this says so much. Now, Laura's saying that Cotton Simpson came and she went in the house. Now, I think she went on to describe that Cotton, basically, not word for word, she said Cotton spoke inappropriately with her around. She went as far as to say that Cotton Simpson bragged about doing the nasty with Candace. Sure did. You guys remember that? For sure, for sure. Not this Cotton, by the way. What do you mean, not this Cotton? Cotton candy, get it at the fair. For sure, she'll be there. Oh, thank you, Poppy, for recognizing everyone. Yes, thank you, everybody, for behaving while I was gone. I appreciate it. Fred said he only met Cotton twice. What? No way. Fred just don't know anybody now, does he? Heck, Fred didn't even know what the guy looked like that he sold his manufactured substance to. You're the goodest. That's right, Chris. You guys are the goodest. No, KK, I wasn't talking about you. Never, ma'am. Except for to say, I adore her. You are the best during your potty dash. Oh, thank you, guys. That is just super duper nice of ya. All right, let's hear this shit Fred's saying. This makes no sense.
This is if I know anything about Cotton Simpson.
So they started asking you about Cotton.
They never ask you about Summer. So this is weird, right? Because Fred is like, yeah, or Ziggy says that Fred was questioned in Summer's case. This law enforcement giving him a tape recorder to spy on Don Wells or whatever, that whole thing makes no freaking sense to me. Auntie Sherry. Well, I'm glad you feel comfortable here. For sure. Okay. Except you, Chris. Oh, Chris was naughty. Okay, so that none of this makes any sense to me. They also searched Fred's after he went to jail. Yes. Didn't his sisters and them go and do it too? Right? I thought his sisters also went and was searching the properties. He tried to, I remember him saying that they had tore down the paneling, like his walls. They had tore his walls out. They were probably looking for a manufactured substance. That's probably what they were doing. How would they have known that quickly, Kirst? How would they have even have heard anything about that so quickly? Oh, that was after he went to jail. No, that doesn't make any sense. So because they gave him the shit that night, right? Didn't he try to say that they gave him, that they had him recording Dawn from... Fred has been listening to Ziggy from day one. I agree with you there also. May. Girl. Yeah, Auntie Sherry can't drive, Poppy. She wants you to get in your red Mustang and go visit her. Yes, May, I know it's a joke. I know that. May's joking. So anybody who, thinks that she was serious, and you just have to know May and her sense of humor. Wild monkeys in my trees. Oh, Lord. I only have one, but I would buy another one. You would? Him and Laura both. But why would he do that? Do you really? This is what I'm questioning. Nowhere has anybody admitted to anyone that happened. Law enforcement hasn't come out and said, yes, we told Fred Hill that he needed to, record all these people's reactions, right? That's funny, Sherry. That is funny, lady.
Huh?
Yep.
Wow.
Just ask me about what Fred was saying.
Yeah, what did Fred say?
So you guys follow him to see because
he kept acting worried about getting robbed for some reason. That's what we was more concerned about.
Maybe he was afraid that you and whoever you were with, maybe it creeped Cotton out because maybe something was said, or something might have creeped him out, and he was like, I'm afraid y'all are gonna rob me. Now, I don't know, I wasn't there, but if you were out of the kindness of your heart going to follow him to make sure that he was safe and his money didn't get stolen, why would you have not let him know that? Why didn't you say, hey, Cotton, I'm going to follow you down a little ways now and get you somewhere where, you're not, somebody ain't going to come and take that money. Fred told her he didn't want to get her involved. She didn't need to know how. Oh, I bet. That's funny. Well, I'm glad you do, Auntie Sherry.
Time because he kept letting him, like, with all that money on him and stuff, he was worried about getting robbed. He wanted to get back home.
So did he know you guys were following him?
No.
No.
Just being nosy?
Yeah.
And then you followed him to that.
We went to the top of the mountain there at Mountain View and turned from Mountain View on. I'm trying to think like that big mountain or mountain trail or something that he pulled onto and back into the church.
Cotton Simpson.
So you followed him without him knowing it, and watched him back into the church. Your MJ card. Oh, DoorDash. DoorDash.
And that's where his beat was found the next day and stuff.
Wow.
And I told him that I didn't know. All I noticed that it came by, that Cotton came by, and they talked, and I went back in the house.
But I remember, Laura, you talking about something about Cotton was saying things to you about doing the nasty with Candace and a few other things. So you just went back in the house and you never even heard him speak. It doesn't make any sense. Yes, I'm going to pin that, Cursed. Fred inserted himself in Summer's story by telling the world Summer's remains were underwater in a cave. Why? Yes, that was when he was in jail. Remember, it was breaking news. Fred was in jail. He was questioned. And law enforcement was telling him things and without telling him things. I mean, really, oh, cool. I wish that they would medicinally, legalize it here. I don't know why they don't. It's kind of stupid that they don't. You would think that with the taxes and stuff that, our state would. Ziggy on him had that conversation twice. I want to see where they gave him a lie detector about Summer.
And that was
And that's all I know.
That was back in February, wouldn't it have been? Because I think he passed in February.
On February the 14th.
Again, Fred's stories always change. They always have. Either the stories change or he lies. How do you not see this? How do you not see it?
So, you guys remember?
Yeah, because didn't Fred say he seen a blue truck and the windows? He couldn't see who was in the window. He couldn't see through the windows to see who was in the car. And, it was so important that Ziggy put it on the tip line. And, yeah, that whole situation was freaking weird. I talked about that on a live because, that truck wasn't mentioned. And then all of a sudden she wanted to mention the truck. And then when Pruitt called her to question Fred on the truck, his ass laid in bed while Ziggy was on the phone and started inquiring about Andy Bernard. And Pruitt was like, no, ma'am, I'm not doing this with you. Basically what happened. At first he couldn't remember crap about it, and now it evolved. Yeah, with details. Yeah. Yep.
That incident that Fred talked about when he was coming out of the holler and there was a guy broke down on a motorcycle, like a moped motorcycle or whatever.
It's a Harley Davidson.
Oh, see, I get it all fucking wrong, dude.
Yeah, he was broke down right before we get to not Mount Carmel Church, but Psalmist Temple Church. And I stopped to help him, or asked if he needed help, and that's when he.
Okay, Solomon's Temple Church. Because is that the church that's in the back of the holler there? That truck was there on the 14th. The blue truck they were talking about, right?
Was asked for a relay, and I didn't have a relay or nothing.
With a relay.
It's hard to explain.
Okay, I was just asking just so in case people.
But anyway, I actually went back and hooked the trailer up and hauled the bike the west side in for him. And his bike had been stolen, and he had found it on the creek on the 15th around Ben Hill somewhere, but I don't know exactly where.
You don't know. This makes no sense. Good for you, Auntie Sherry. I hope that it comes through for you. I really do. Blame Andy for what he's guilty of, not being somewhere he wasn't. But I had a question about that, Cursed, because Andy allegedly, what was it that I ended up asking? There was a question. Andy, oh, I know what it was. Because Andy said that Candace is the one who told him when he came into the holler that Summer was missing. And I showed where Candace said that Andy didn't even come up until she said like 8 o'clock that night. And to say that he was helping look for Summer too. Yeah, I just showed that on a live I just did. I can't tell you exactly what day it was. So that didn't make any sense. Hey, Flies. Hope you're feeling better. So...
Yeah. Yes, he does have a brother because he spoke about his brother because he talked about trying to get a hold of his brother and his dad to come and get it, but he didn't have no cell service.
Okay, so the dude found the bike in the holler. Did I play Andy actually saying that? Well, I think Andy pretty much said he came in right before dawn or right after dawn. That's what I couldn't remember if it was before dawn or after dawn, but it was around the same time dawn came in. For sure. Well, Ziggy's just in love. She's in love.
Unfortunately, the West Side Inn is no longer around, so if they had any surveillance or anything.
Yeah, I mean, I talked to law enforcement about this bike and stuff and the situation on the 15th, the night of the 15th when they was talking, asking about anything suspicious in the area or anything.
Was the bike blue?
No, it wasn't blue.
Do you remember what color it was?
It had a rattlesnake skin seat, and the tank was looked like rattlesnake skin over the tank too.
So this guy, so
basically this person was broken down on his Harley, and there was somebody pulled over behind him,
Yeah,
trying to help him. It was a gold
Lexus.
Gold Lexus. You guys remember? Dawn said a yellow vehicle was speeding out.
Yeah.
But this was a vehicle, or a gold vehicle, that was pulled up behind it trying to help, a Lexus.
Supposedly the one that he had rode with to the creek to try to find the bike.
So he knew who the person in the Lexus was?
Yeah.
And Fred stopped to...
And the dude obviously knew that the bike was in the hauler, right? The bike's in the hauler. They come to get it. There's a dude in a gold Lexus trying to help the dude, right? Cheers. Guten Tag. Guten Tag. Cheers to you also from Germany. Woot woot. We love us some. I used to love this beer when I was in Germany, and it was a Weissen Light, and my landlord. I lived in a little town called Porch. Okay, we're kind of veering off the conversation here since we got somebody in. No, you don't have to do that. No, we are not going to have that. No, we're not. You've been drinking too many. You've been drinking too much, my friend. That ain't going to happen. Let's just, maybe you need to take a nap. We're going to put you in timeout. Good night. Thanks for popping in from Germany. I'm sure somebody will let you do that, but not me. Sorry. Good night. Guten Morgen. Ich heiße du. For real, for real. Anyhow, what was I talking? Oh, my landlord drove a beer truck. And so we could just go get the racks of beer, and we would just put, keep a tally of the racks that we get. And then every month we would pay him for whatever we got. So it was just real easy because we just would go down in the cooler and get a rack of what we want. But the Weissen Light, it still had the yeast in the bottom. Oh my gosh. Best beer ever. Hands down. Love it. You can't get it here in the United States, though. And you're only allowed to bring back so many when you come back from the States. But that was years ago. And I knew that at that time, we were allowed to bring 2 racks back with us. And that was it. So, yeah. I don't know why I told you guys that. Just a little piece of info there. But no, it's not fun going through the Frankfurt National Airport where they have men carrying big pew-pews and you're worried about one of your beers breaking. Yeah, me too, Auntie Sherry. I'm not German, but I learned a little bit when I was there. Just a little. Okay.
Help them, and Fred never seen this guy before?
No, I ain't never known before.
And he put the
I was trying to be this polite and helping,
Yeah.
a good Samaritan.
Oh, who did Fred help with that was broke down on a motorcycle that day? That summer. There was
Jeff Everly. It was Jeff Everly.
Because you get broke down on the creek like that, nobody will stop and help you usually. Even if they know you, they'll just grow on by.
And this happened at 4:15 p.m.
Oh, one of his sisters just said Fred got his motion of discovery, and Fred said that Jeff Everly and Pat Wilcox were the ones that bought from him
on that day, and that's kind of an important time.
Wow.
I never really thought much of that situation.
I didn't either.
You know,
Wow. Yeah, Fred contradicted.
And the reason I went up there today, I seen Damien in the pool. I rode up there to see if Don might had a gallon of gas or something I could use or borrow to make sure I made it on the town to the gas station. That's the only reason I went up there then.
Son Andrew was in it with him one evening. I stopped down there because I got an old junk truck off of him, and I'd stopped down there to tell him I was going to get it, and he was in the swimming pool with her then, just him and her.
Is this when they were trying to say that, I'll just call him Jody Sue's youngin' was in the pool with Summer? Is that what he's trying to say there? The only reason I went up there, his son Andrew was in it with him. This is where he's talking about seeing Damien in the pool.
kind of a important time. I never really thought much of that situation,
I
but
didn't either.
you know,
And the reason I went up there today, I seen Damien in the pool. I rode up there to see if Don might had a gallon of gas or something I could use or borrow to make sure I made it on the town to the gas station. That's the only reason I went up there then.
Son Andrew was in it with him one evening. I stopped down there because I got an old junk truck off of him, and I'd stopped down there to tell him I was going to get it, and he was in the swimming pool with her then, just him and her.
What do you really think about that, though, Kirst? What do you think about that? What do you, I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't ask you that. What is love? Yeah, we know he's contradicting. He's been contradicting himself. No, I wouldn't think that. I mean, he doesn't definitely use any filler on that statement, because he just says, I seen him in the pool with her. I think he's seen a pic, not actually Jody's son. Yeah, I could see that happening. I could definitely see that happening. Good job, as always, Kirst. Good job. You really do you really do put your heart and soul into calling out his bullshit, because that's basically what it is, bull crap, for sure. But I don't understand it. I mean, the only reason that I can think that they just keep up with all of it is, you know, everybody says it's for the money and different things like that. And you got to remember that allegedly Fred told Ziggy, let's not get rid of this channel. You know, we need to keep it going until Summer's found. But Fred he's inserted himself where almost every scenario he is on the road where Summer Scent was last found, right? Right. Right. Now you got to think about it like this. Is he doing this because he knows that he really didn't have anything to do with it. And so he can mess around and say all this dumb shit because he knows that law enforcement knows that everything he's saying is not true. Possibly. Kind of crazy. Kind of cray-cray. No, somebody's mowing their grass. For sure, for sure. Fred lived a mile down the road from Andy, John, and Candace. I don't know. Yeah, turning in false tips to TBI. That was kind of crazy to me that she does that with TBI and then Pruitt calls her and she doesn't want to describe this blue truck or whatever it was any more than they had to. I mean, for fuck's sake, Fred was laying in bed, right? Everything that he has said makes him look guilty, in my opinion, also. So, well, we wish that I'm sure law enforcement knows everything that Fred's saying. And what happens with that? Why would law enforcement automatically know that Fred Hill was not in that area and did nothing to Summer or anything that day? How does law enforcement know that factually? How would they know that? Yeah, why would the truck be important to them? Well, I mean, obviously they're entertaining people, right? She's still got a lot of subs and members, and for some people, it's very hard. Once you can get, once you get big enough and, I mean, shit, the girl had people helping her pay her electric bill and her gas bill and all kinds of stuff. Ziggy has made quite a bit of money off of YouTube since she started, because she started talking about Summer's case. So, I mean, and once you have that happen, you have to keep trying to keep yourself at that level. You have to keep yourself at that level, especially if you're getting your bills paid and stuff. So, I mean, that's kind of what's happened with her. Rachel, there were a lot of people that have inserted themselves into Summer's case. A lot of people. Like I said, at one time, I had almost 100 names of everywhere that Summer Wells was talked about. There was a lot of them. Now, it's not like that anymore. some of those people started. What some people did was they, like me, I started talking about summer, and I talked about summer for a little while, but I knew that I needed to talk about other missing kids too, and other cases involving children. So I kind of went that direction. Do I still talk about summer? Absolutely. But we talk about and do so much more things over here than just talk about summer. So some creators did change up their platform or whatever. Some of them stayed distinctively talking about summer, nothing but Summer Wells. And a lot of those people have went into the Sebastian Rogers case. So, some of them went from Summer right into the Sebastian Rogers case and really haven't talked about anything but Sebastian Rogers for a long time. Hey, I don't find anything wrong with that. If that is where they feel like they're getting the most out of their channel as far as subs and different stuff like that, there's nothing wrong with that. But I don't know. I do have some morals over here, and but I try real hard not to say shit about how people are making their money. I just stay in my lane and don't pay no attention to that. Yes, the scent and the footprints. Yes. Well, I'm sure that if Lawson said that, then he was told that by somebody that he believed that the scent ended at the road. Well, it's like this. Sometimes with me, it just benefits me not to say some things because I'm not a liar either. And that's why I don't say a lot of things. If I said some shit, yeah, it would go sideways. Some things are just better left unsaid. That's just the way I feel about it. But they didn't talk about that, Chris, or Kirst. They didn't talk about that. They didn't talk about where the dogs hit up by the house or anything. The only thing they said was the scent ended on the road. And then it was weird that it was said that they couldn't even find anything with a good scent on it because they shared everything. But then in the timeline, they want to add in there that Candace was doing laundry. Yeah, he did. Yeah. Oh, yeah, it was probably told to him by somebody, for sure. For sure. I just really, I don't know. I just wish she would have been found. It's been 4 years. For sure, for sure. But But yeah, back in the day, we had kids on milk cartons, for sure. Do you guys remember me talking about a little girl that had run away from her group home? And they found her dismembered. Wow. We'll have to talk about that another time. Yeah, it's sad. It's sad. Yeah, you sometimes you do have to shut some of it off, you know? You really do. Well, you have a lot of people speculating on a lot of things. You really do. And I just, I do always try to say if something's my opinion or, you know, hearsay or, you know, a theory that I might have. And I always try to respect other people's opinions and theories and different things like that. I don't know if that would cross the line of speculation or not. You know, I guess that kind of would depend. But we don't know what happened. And the sad thing is, with us not knowing what happened, you know, law enforcement's been put into a position, they're not going to share anything with us. They're not going to share anything with us until it comes out that someone's been arrested or someone's come forward and said something, for sure. So I don't know. But like I said, Kurt's just done a good job showing Fred and Ziggy and the different things that he says. And, you know, I don't understand why he is putting himself, he's putting himself in that whole freaking area. Do you think it's true when he said that the dogs hit at the back of his truck? I don't know. Why do people say shit like that? These people were saying stuff like that like it wasn't a big deal. Yeah, dog hit behind my truck. That would not be a good thing. You would have thought, but see, that's the thing. They say her scent ended at the end of the driveway. You would think if somebody picked her up on a quad Jody Sue would have heard that quad, don't you think? Maybe not, but I would just think if someone picked her up in a quad, they're not the quietest things unless it was a really good one, I would say, but or even if somebody picked her up on horseback, you would think that somebody would have noticed that. I just don't think he believed they put the blame just on Don and Candace for being there. Wait a minute, I read that wrong. I think he believed they blamed just Dawn, not Candace, for being there. Oh, so you think that they were going to, because see, that's what got me too, because of the pure fact that he's like, yeah, I was supposed to be a mediator over Dawn Wells, getting substances from Knoxville, and I was going to mediate that. So not saying that he said that not saying that these people took Summer, but he was afraid that they would come and do the same thing to the boys, and I was going to mediate that. That made no freaking sense to me. Night, May May. Good night, my May May. Sweet dreams. Handler's job is to interpret what the dog is saying. Handlers can get it wrong. Yeah, Jody's dogs were out at one point, yeah. And also, you got to remember, there was all the dogs on the hill. Candace said when they brought the dogs up there, I'm not sure what set of dogs it was, but Candace said they didn't even tell her so she could put her dogs up. I remember Candace saying that, so for sure. Hello, Ladybug. Yes, ma'am. So, I don't know. I don't know why he does what he's doing. Unless it's just to, have to keep that going. Good night, Stein Eric. Thanks for popping in. Well, we had somebody who said they were from Germany. Stein Eric is from Norway. For sure. But I am going to get my butt up here. Go have some dinner. Chill out. I've been trying to get up early because it's cooler outside and I love to be outside. And so I've been trying to hang out and do a little reading and organizing and just doing my thing. For real. But you guys hang out. Go do what you want. Have a good night. I appreciate you guys. Thanks for coming in and hanging out with me. I wasn't even really sure what we were going to talk about. But we ended up talking about what we talked about. That's why I appreciate you guys so much, because we can hang out over here and talk about 2 or 3 different things and, have good conversation. So I do appreciate you guys. I want you to know that. Thank you, mods. Thank you, Poppy. I appreciate you. I appreciate all you guys. But hey, Sage, thank you for popping in too. Thanks, people who popped in today that I hadn't seen for a long time. It is good to see you guys. I mean, It doesn't hurt just to come in and give a little wave. Okay, it don't hurt you a bit. So, and thank you, May May. Thank you for reminding people to thumbs it up. Thumbs it up, people. All right, appreciate you guys. Please like, share it, subscribe it, whatever you want to do. Peace out, my friends.